Hello everyone, my name is Carl Barnes and this is my case summary. Client identification. Terry is a 20-year-old African American male who resides in York, Pennsylvania. The city of York is a low socioeconomic community located in southeastern Pennsylvania. Terry attended and graduated from the only public high school in the city of York, William Penn Senior High School. The demographics of this public high school is majority African Americans and Hispanics at about 90%. The remaining 10% consist of Caucasians, Asians, and others. Terry grew up in a single-parent Section 8 house along with his 4 siblings. His father was addicted to drugs and an alcoholic, which left him and his brothers fatherless. The father refuses to play any part or role of his children's lives. Terry's mothers worked endlessly to carry the financial burden of the family. Considering he's the oldest of his siblings, he felt obligated to provide care for his brothers. The exposure to crime and violence played an influential role in his life. Not only did he become victim to society, but the absence of a paternal presence left him without guidance. Terry is currently unemployed due to his inability to pass a drug test and lack of efforts to do so. He believes the reason he's unemployed is because of his juvenile background and his lack of a post-secondary education. Terry has a previous history of in the juvenile judicial system. As a teenager, he was found guilty of attempts to deliver and assault charges. Terry was sentenced to 12 months in a juvenile detention facility, York Detention Center. During his intake assessment, the facility found marijuana and alcohol in the system. Terry expresses his desire to attend college but isn't knowledgeable of his financial resources. His ex-girlfriend is expecting twins, therefore he wants to position himself to provide for his family. Presenting the problem. Terry has a long history of drug abuse and vulnerability to negative influences. When Terry was an adolescent, he began hanging out with people in his neighborhood. In low socioeconomic communities, drug addiction and unemployment is very common. Evidently, he began to partake in these activities, in which they do as well. He was recently arrested for driving under the influence. The County of York placed him in an accelerated rehabilitative disposition, which is also considered the ARD program. ARD is a special pretrial intervention program for individuals with no prior record. The court-ordered conditions of this program entails drug and alcohol counseling, community service, and restitution. Depending on the severity of the case, additional consequences may be provided. Upon completion of the program, Terry's charges will be dismissed and expunged from his record. Terry is currently unemployed due to coming to work under the influence of marijuana. The court-ordered conditions for Terry include a year of probation with random drug testing. He must be employed or in school, and he must participate in counseling. Theories and interventions that comply with Terry's situation. Cognitive theory best explains the behaviors and schemas of an individual who lacked a father figure and fell victim to an urban low socioeconomic community. Cognitive theory postulates that we develop habits of thinking that form the basis of our screening and coding of an environmental input, categorizing and evaluating that experience and making judgments about how to behave. Terry's conscious thinking is the basis for his human and emotional experience. An intervention that may be effective in Terry's situation. Considering the complexity of Terry's current state, I believe solution-focused therapy is the most efficient intervention. The principles underlying solution-focused therapy reflect a synthesis of ideas drawn from the family system, cognitive communication, and crisis intervention theories. Terry has experienced so much as a child that multiple perspectives of his well-being is negatively affected. He grew up in an unstable paternal absent family system. His cognitions and schemas were developed in a low socioeconomic community. Additionally, he was institutionalized as a juvenile, which is considered a traumatic crisis event. Now we watch a role-play video of solution-focused therapy in regards to Terry's situation. Hey Terry, how's it going? Didn't get lost getting here, did you?
No, sir.
No? Wasn't bad?
No, sir.
Good, good. It's a pleasure to meet you. All
Nice to
right?
meet you.
So it brought to my attention that you're here for the ARD program. This is part of your court order obligations, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So before we begin, I would like to tell you that this is completely confidential. Okay. I mean, of course, unless something serious, this is confidential. This is between me and you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, tell me what's going on. How you doing?
Not too good right now.
Okay.
A DUI.
Okay.
Recently, so that's what they need to make sure.
Okay. So, we all make mistakes. All right. The important thing is just to move forward. All right. And you coming here is one of the first steps of you moving forward for your situation. I just want to let you know that I will be writing some things down in regards to how I can assist you better. That's all. All right. So, tell me, Terry. On a scale of 1 to 10, I know you're in a jam right now in a terrible situation. How are you willing? Are you ready to change? On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you tell me?
I would say like a 7 or 8 right now.
7 or 8 right now.
So, because with the program, they forced me to do a lot of things that I'm used to doing. Okay, it's going to take some time to get past that.
Okay, I understand that. But you know what? That willingness and that motivation is going to make this all easier. And we're in this together. Make a collaborative effort so you can meet the specific goals of life.
Appreciate it.
No problem. So, what else besides you getting your DUI and things of this nature? What else is going on in your life?
But, my girlfriend, she recently broke up and she's pregnant with twins.
Okay.
So, that's a trying situation right there.
Okay.
And, I got some trust issues with her family figures in my life.
Okay.
My father wasn't around since I was young, so I really didn't reach out to those people to talk to.
Okay. I can definitely explain my father. I don't know. It's very hard for me to hold on to people. But honestly, it was these authority figures that kind of got me in a position where I'm at. All right. So you have a drug issue or whatnot there. What drives you to smoke?
It was like helping with stress. Stress. It take my mind off the things that I was going through at the time. Like especially when I first found out my girlfriend was pregnant.
Yeah.
Before she broke up with me, I was stressing because I don't have a job. So I would smoke weed and relax.
Is that when you first started smoking weed, or are you?
No, I was smoking before then.
Oh, you smoked before then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, clearly, since you're on probation and whatnot, you haven't been smoking. What ways have you been coping?
Like really, I've been just trying to find a job, trying to stay busy, staying away from the same people that I would go around when I was smoking.
Okay.
The friends.
Okay. So you say your friends played a huge influence on you getting to smoking, things of that nature?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So besides you're not smoking, has anything else changed about the problem between the time you made the appointment until now?
Not really. Like I said, they're forcing me to do certain things that I really wouldn't do on my own. But I think it might be just for the better.
For the better?
Yes, sir.
Are you feeling any healthier?
Not right now. It hasn't been that long.
Okay.
I'm sure that it'll help me.
All right. So these friends of yours, pretty much you began to do drugs with and other activities. What was their responses to your current situation?
Well, they told me I shouldn't have been doing it. Drinking and driving, smoking and driving.
Yeah.
But I gotta learn from my mistakes. I gotta man up because I got kids on the way now.
Yeah, definitely. So do you think they'll continue to partake in those activities?
I'm sure they will, but I'm gonna try to avoid it.
You're gonna try to avoid it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, like I said, I'm here to work with you. All right. Let's start by setting some goals. So, what goals between now and to the end of our session? What goals would you like to accomplish?
Number one goal right now is to find a job.
Find a job.
That's very important. Not only because, like I said, my kids run away, but the program requires me to have a job. My second goal would be like to stay clean. Because like, if I'm not clean, I go back. I go to jail.
Okay.
And lastly, I want to be accepted to Harrisburg Area Community College.
Okay. So you're at post-secondary education?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm waiting to see what schools are with my financial aid.
Yes.
Because I can't afford it by myself, but
yeah,
hopefully I can do it.
Trust me, there's aid there. Okay. There's definitely aid. That's awesome, man. From our conversation, it seems like you just have that willingness and that desire to better your life. Not only academically, but financially as well, since you're trying to get a job, and physically because you're trying to refrain from coping with marijuana. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So, what's different now than a couple days ago when you were pulled over under the influence?
I do not want to be in jail. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I gotta be free. I want to be in my kids' life. Because, like I said earlier, my father wasn't around.
Yes.
And that bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to have that same negative impact on my kids' life.
Completely understand. And that's amazing. A lot of people can't really conceptualize the way that you do in regards to wanting to do better. But some people use that as an excuse. So that's exceptional that you're not using your circumstance as an excuse for you to do things that your father did. All right. Would you say you were depressed while you were under the influence of marijuana? Was that you just depressed? Would you say you feel like you were rejected?
Yeah, I would say I was rejected. That the absence of my father.
Yes.
That really bothered me because I would see my friends with their father.
Yes.
And I just wanted mine to be around, but also just with my mom, she never had time for us either because she was always working.
Yes.
And just that lack of leadership or authority figure.
Yeah.
It just made me think about it.
Yeah, really understand. When I was growing up as an adolescent or whatnot, my father wasn't around. I became like an introvert. A lot of the problems I had, I wasn't able to tell people or whatnot. So I pretty much just dedicated all my time and just to keep my mind off without stress, and I took it out on the football field. I just played sports. I was a bad boy. You better ask about me. So, prior to you ever smoking marijuana, what was different?
Well, my mother, she had more control over my life. I was a little bit younger.
Okay.
So, I wasn't allowed outside as much. And she worked a lot. My siblings, I'm the oldest of four. They needed guidance. They needed somebody watching the house.
Okay.
So I had to take that role.
Definitely. That's great. Are there times after you were smoking weed and coping with it? Are there times when you were refrained from it after you started, or
not that I know of? I mean,
it's just a habit.
Yeah, hanging out with my friends, and eventually we would start smoking.
Okay. Understand. And that's a hard habit to kick, but it's possible. All right. So according to your goals, you wanted to you want to get accepted to college. You want to get a job, and you want to find a hobby. Well, I would suggest that you find a hobby in order to just keep it off your mind, where though you won't cope with marijuana, but you're doing other things or whatnot. So your next meeting is next week. How about we set some definitive goals that you should be able, or you should attempt to reach by the time that we meet again? How does it sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. So, in regards to you being accepted to college, how about we reach for 2 applications? Have 2 applications completed and submitted so that we can await a response from those colleges. All right?
All right. Yes, sir.
At least 2 to 3 job applications or whatnot, so that you have those for employers to come reach you. How's that sound? All right. And additionally, hobby. You know, you were a great athlete. I followed you. Um, my son, he plays now. He's a lot younger than you, but I followed you before. Like, do you have any interest in still playing sports?
I do. You know, I never wanted to stop, but because I got in trouble when I was younger, that kind of changed things for me a little bit.
Completely understand that. Completely understand. Let me ask you a question. Say you were to wake up tomorrow morning or whatnot, and what would be an indication of all your problems, everything that you're going through right now? What would be an indication that all of those went away? What would your morning look like?
My morning,
Yes. Like as specifically and concrete as possible.
I would wake up in the morning. Have my girlfriend, she would do with me. She'd probably make me breakfast or iron my clothes or something.
Okay.
So I could go to work. I would have a job, and I would be providing for my family.
Okay.
You know, doing what's best for me and my family.
Yes.
But I don't know.
What do you think it would take for you to get there?
I gotta stay out of trouble.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah, I gotta stay out of trouble. I gotta make sure I'm here and available to work and,
Yes.
and you know, break some of those habits.
I'm here to tell you that is attainable. That's an attainable goal to reach that collectively, meaning you can get there. All right. So you made mistakes. People make mistakes. I want you to know that you can get out of those mistakes as well. All right. It appears to me that your friends have a huge influence on your life or whatnot. You haven't started smoking marijuana until you were with friends. You know, I assume that you just pretty much spend a lot of time with your friends as well or whatnot. A lot of that time that you're wasting, you could be doing something productive, trying to attain those goals, and have that morning with some questions that you just answered. All right.
Yes,
So find some positive friends. I'm not saying forget your friends now. I'm just saying try to find a positive group because influences is very they're very strong. All right. So we're heading towards the end of our meeting. Between now and the next time we meet, I'd like for you to observe some things that's happening in your life. I want you to just observe what's different, you know, with your actions and things of that nature. How people are interacting with you, friends or family acting different. I want you to observe it, okay? Observe it, and I'm going to ask you the next time we meet, okay?
yes, sir.
All right? Additionally, I want you to do something you've never done before. Who are the closest people in your life right now?
Right now, with my mother and my siblings.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
I think surprise them. What do you think a surprise you could do for your mother and your siblings?
I used to go to the park with my siblings all the time.
Yes?
I haven't gone there in a while.
Yeah.
I've been calling with my friends.
I understand.
So I think doing that with my brothers, they would like that.
I think you should. It would be the start of something new.
With my mom, would probably like make her lunch or dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
Probably go for a walk with her.
Yeah.
We won't spend that much time together because she's at work, but
Yeah.
I think that would be nice.
I sure appreciate that. All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
between now and then, put on a surprise test as well. The last question I'd like to ask you, right? So, say all this is done, whatnot, and I mean all the changes that you're making. What would you tell me about yourself if I ran into you like a supermarket or something? What would you tell yourself? What would you tell me about yourself? About what you're doing now, how you're doing.
I can tell you that I successfully completed the ARD program. You know, I got a job.
Yes.
And I gave my girlfriend gave birth to
Awesome.
twins, two little boys.
Yeah.
And I stayed out of trouble.
Nice. What can I do to help you reach those goals? What do you need from me?
You know, I might need somebody to talk to between now and my next session.
Okay.
If you have like a card or something I can reach you at,
Yes, I do have a business card I can give you.
I would appreciate that.
Okay. Please give me a call anytime. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that completes our meeting. Next week, what's a good time for you to meet? Now, here's the evidence of effectiveness. Evidence of effectiveness utilizing solution-focused therapy will be documented through scale monitoring. The client's progress toward goal achievement is measured by scaling changes on a scale of 1 to 10 continuum. I will ask Terry during each subsequent meeting to indicate where he is on a scale and what needs to be done to advance to a higher point on the scale. Sessions following the initial visit will include segments that ask what is different and what has changed since the last time we have met. During my interview, my goal was to establish a collaborative and helping relationship with Terry in order to attain his goals. Terry has trust issues with authoritative male figures, therefore it was difficult to establish a rapport with him. I had to be able to conceptualize with him by expressing our similarities. We both can relate to paternal absence in sports. Therefore, I utilized that to gain conversation and just to make the situation more comfortable. Harvested feelings and deep-rooted cognitions are hard to overturn, but using solution-focused therapy should help. If I'm capable of collaboratively altering the schemas of Terry and setting new goals, consequently, Terry's behaviors will change. Terry needs to be motivated and inspired. Therefore, he can maximize his potential. Utilizing positive reinforcement and highlighting his strengths will boost his self-esteem and alleviate his insecurities. The tools I used to put emphasis on his strengths were reframing his negative comments. Many of the things that he said that was negative, I took something positive out of it. Therefore, he doesn't put emphasis on the negative aspect of it. Terry has developed habits from his environment that handicaps his expectations. He is outstanding academically, and he has an athletic gift as well that he can still utilize at the age of 20. Therefore, he needs to be reminded that he still has these gifts that he can use. There's just certain things that he has to change, including his environment and his negative habits, such as utilizing drugs and spending most of his time with his friends that aren't helping him achieve his goal. My goal is to help change the way he conceptualizes things. Therefore, he doesn't behave according to his old cognitions. Additionally, set goals that are attainable while he isn't influenced by drugs and peers. That concludes my case summary. Thank you.